Now, honestly, God, this has sped up my workflow by, I would say for me, at least 5 times. But for anyone else that implements this workflow, I guarantee it will speed you up by at least 3 times. So I've been using Premiere Pro now for about 11 or 12 years. And when I first learned how to use it, I just kind of like made up my own workflow. And it worked pretty good, so I just kind of stuck with it. But I never kind of looked at if there was a better way of doing things in Premiere Pro. And then about 2 years ago, my mate told me to have a look at DaVinci Resolve as it was starting to get, upgraded and have a few cool features that he thought I would like. But up until that point, I had mainly just used Premiere Pro, and all my projects and all my assets and templates were all in Premiere Pro. So for me to jump ship and move to DaVinci Resolve would have been an absolutely massive jump. But before I jumped ship, I decided to kind of like dive into my workflow in Premiere Pro and just see if I could speed up a few little bits to make it even more efficient. And after about 2 or 3 months of tweaking and kind of like trying a few different things, I finally figured out a workflow that worked perfectly for me. And the main things that I wanted to optimize to speed up my workflow was to not take my hand off the keyboard and not take my hand off the mouse. So basically I custom made a whole bunch of keyboard shortcuts to make it as efficient for me without having to kind of like go back and forth on my keyboard or my mouse and do a whole bunch of different stuff. Now I have shown this to a few of my mates and they said they absolutely loved it and this is their new workflow and it's absolutely changed the way they edit now in Premiere Pro. So enough talking, let's jump into Premiere Pro and I'll show you what I've tweaked to make my workflow that more efficient. Right, so in Premiere Pro, this is how I set up my working space. So I have my project over here, I have my source clips and my effect controls up here, obviously the program window, the timeline, my audio over here, my tools here, and then the media browser and the effects panel down here. This is basically the standard editing profile, but the project's usually down here and I just brought up here. And the main reason I did that is because I started editing in Premiere Pro in like CS2 maybe, and this is originally what it was. So I'm just used to having it like this, but it works good for me. Now, typically when we're editing in Premiere Pro, we would grab our footage and drag it into the timeline, and then basically start going through and chopping it where we want it. So say if we wanted the clip to start here, we would press C, get the cut tool, cut it, press V, click on it, press delete, click on this, press delete, okay? But that is just way too many clicks to do something so simple. So if we go to where we want the clip to start, if we press Q, what it'll actually do is it'll cut everything to the left of the playhead and then snap the clip back to where the original clip actually started. And then W on the other hand does the exact opposite. So it snips everything to the right of the playhead on that specific clip. So say if we want the clip to finish here, we press W and you can see that it's kind of like trim the end to where we want it to go. Now this already is absolutely amazing, but the problem is that if you want to use 2 portions from a clip, so say with this clip, if we wanted to start here, we would press Q and would trim that. But then say if we wanted to maybe like do a clip at the start and then a clip at the end, so let's quickly trim the end to here. But say if instead of having this 1 clip, we wanted to make it 2 clips, how you'd have to do this would be go back to that original workflow. You'd have to press C, click it, and then you make the cut, and then you can go back and do your Q to trim the start. But again, it's just too many clicks. So what I've done to make this even more efficient, I've changed my keyboard shortcut E to be a cut. So E does the exact same as basically pressing C, getting the cut tool and clicking. So instead of doing 3 actions, you just have to do 1 and it does it straight away. Now the other keyboard shortcut I've set up is if you find a clip that you don't really want. So typically you would click on it, press delete, and then you'd be left with a gap. And then you can click on the gap and press delete and it will bring everything together. Or alternatively, you can click on it, hold option and press delete and it will delete and snap it back together. But again, way too many clicks for me. So what I've done is I have actually signed R to be the exact same thing. So R will actually delete the clip and then snap everything back to close that gap up. Now don't stress, I will show you how to set up these keyboard shortcuts in a sec, but I've got a couple more things to show you before I jump into that panel. Now the other thing I've set up is that I don't like all the clips being the same color because you don't know what is what. Like, how do I know what this clip is? Like, this is a dud clip, but if I just go through here, I can't tell that by just looking at the timeline. So I basically set up my number keys to be different colors. So 1 is green, and I usually use green for like main footage or vlogging footage. 2 is orange, and I use this for B-roll clips. 3 is red, and I use this for dud clips. So like if this was a clip, which it is, and I'm not gonna use, I would mark that as red, and I know that that is a clip that I'm not gonna use. The number 4 I set up to be teal, and I use teal for aerial shots or drone shots. The reason I do this again is that you don't usually put a lot of drone shots in. It might be 1 or 2 scattered throughout. So at a glance, I can see exactly which shots are the drone shots. 5 I've set up as cerulean, or a light blue color. And I typically use this when I'm doing my sound design. So just to separate some different tracks and to understand that, you know, maybe this is like a whoosh effect or this is some ambience. Just so I've got more colors to play with, I'm playing with the sound design. And then 9 I've set up to be purple, and I use this for my title. And then typically when I'm editing, I'll actually use different video tracks. So my main video will be on video track 1, my B-roll will be on video track 2. They'll also have my drone shots normally. My red or my dud clips will be at the end. I don't actually delete them, I just push them all to the end. And an easy way to do this is that if you press A, you get this track select forward tool, and basically what it would do is wherever you click, it'll grab everything to the right of where you're clicking. And basically what I do now is I click and drag and hold command on Mac and bring it in front of that red clip and then let go. And basically what it would do is it'll push that red clip to the end of my timeline, so I know that these are all my dud clips, just in case I do want to use them for something like a bloopers reel or something later on. And then to show you real quick just how quick this is, I'll quickly go through and I'll chop this up to a little edit form. Essentially just like that, all the clips are ready to go. Now we just need to drop in a music track, add some color grading and some sound design, and basically this is ready to go. Now of course, how do we actually set it up to make it like this? So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to Premiere Pro or File on Windows and come down to Keyboard Shortcuts. And this is where we're going to set it up. So ripple trim on the Q and W is already set up. The things we want to do is we want to set up E, R, and then our numbers. The first thing we want to do is come down to this search bar and type in Add Edit, which is this one, which is Command K, and then we grab it and drag it onto E, and that one's ready to go. And the next thing we want to do is go to Ripple Delete. Here we go, Edit, Ripple Delete, and we're going to click this and drag that to R, and then we want to go through the colors. So you can either go through with like green, orange, that stuff, but I actually like forest as my green, so I set that to number 1. I set mango as my orange, it's just a nicer color. Rose as my red. Teal as number 4, again cerulean as number 5, and then purple is my number 9. And again, if you want to have 1 to 9 as your colors, then by all means just make as many colors as you want. The only thing you need to keep in mind is that if you are going to be doing multicam editing, this takes off that functionality. So if you're going to be doing that, then don't assign it to these specific keys. Then once you're done that, we just need to press OK, and that is it. That is basically set up. The final little trick I want to show, which has made a massive difference, and I find a lot of people don't actually know about it, is that if you've edited a clip to the beat and you want to change that clip, but you don't want to change the timing, then you can use the slip tool. And the slip tool is either Y or this tool over here. And basically what it does is it doesn't change the length of the clip, it just changes which part of the clip you're selecting. So we can either grab it and drag it to the left and it will move it forward, or we can click it and drag it to the right and it will move the clip back. And this makes such a big difference once you've completed the edit and you just want to tweak things slightly, like a few frames or not. The slip tool is absolutely amazing in doing that. All right, now once we are all set up, I'll show you just quickly how I edit with my music in there and say that this is the music track that we want to work with. Got a nice beat from Epidemic Sound. Cool, and basically what I do is I trim the music to length before I start, but say this is exactly how I wanted it. Once I've got it in there, I would typically put it on audio track number 2, and then I lock that track so nothing can happen. And then all I do is I basically go through and I use that Q, W, E, and R, and I just basically edit to the beat. So I literally just play it. When I hear the beat that I want to cut on, I just press W, and it will trim the end of that clip, bring the next one in, and it will actually just keep playing. So you can literally edit in real time. So let's speed this clip up. And press W there, and we are into the next clip. Again, we're going to speed this one up. So those clips are too similar, so basically what I want to do is I want to grab this next clip and I want to grab it, hold Command, bring it in front, and then it will basically just push everything next to it. And then we can now use this clip. So again, we're going to speed this up a little bit. So I don't want to use the start of this, I kind of want to cut it to there. Ooh. Sorry, I can fix that little jerk. So again, hold Command, bring this next clip in. Again, we'll speed this up, it's a little bit too slow. Let's go even faster. And Command R gives you your clip speed duration settings. Might even do that 1200, make that real quick. Looks pretty cool. So again, if there's a gap like this, you click on it, press R, and it just snaps that in there. So let's bring this next clip in. So again, I want to cut there, so I just press E, go to the bit of the clip that I want to use, so say here, and just press Q, and then we've snapped in, and we're ready to go. Again, end of the clip, press W. Right, so now these two clips are from the other section, so I'm just going to label them orange, and then push them to the end. Yeah. And basically just keep going through like this until you have your clip edited. And you can see how quick it actually is just editing to the beat. So guys, that is exactly how I edit in Premiere Pro. If you do have any more questions about what I was doing there, then please let me know in the comments below. For me, it's really hard to explain what I'm doing because I'm just so used to doing it. I don't actually understand some of the stuff that I'm doing, but I really hope this helps you speed up your workflow in Premiere Pro. If you did like this one, then consider liking and subscribing. And as always, stay creative and just be you.